mining stocks, precious metals, commodities, one of the most overlooked sector that we can see in modern history. Silver, the most undervalued asset, especially this side of this decade, this century, in human history right now, especially what's going on in the industry, what's going on with just the transformation from fake currency to sound money. There's an opportunity before us that is going overlooked by the public. Last week we talked about the fact that mining stocks seem to be calling bullshit on the drop in gold and silver, and it was telling us that this isn't real, this is the back test, and something much bigger is coming, much larger. And at the end of the week, gold and silver put on a loss for the week, but mining stocks were up, which was let's just say a catalyst. It was that inverse indicator that was telling us that something big's coming next week. And I said it at the end of last week, something big's coming next week. Take the profits that we had from MXC, take some from ZBCN, and instead of putting it in crypto, because I said that, we were going to have a rather big drop in crypto, at least from where we were at, and it's, we've dropped 10 to 15%. And now who knows, maybe we could start that reversal, but I informed everybody last week to start buying the mining stocks if you haven't. There was drops that happened in the beginning of the week as crypto was going up for that retest of resistance. As you remember, XRP at $2.65, Bitcoin at about 112K, Ethereum came up to the rising channel breakdown resistance at 2,600 and some change, got rejected, and then that started to drop. So altcoins went down as to where mining stocks, precious metals, especially gold and silver, the commodities, they were going down for a back test of support. So they were going for a back test of support simultaneously while crypto was looking hot and going for a retest of the breakdown resistance. So as to where gold, silver, mining stocks, oil, we're looking for that bounce on support to validate a much bigger move. Cryptos were looking for that validation for a further move down. And my fear last week was mines getting caught up, not me, but I'm saying the mines as a whole are getting caught up in crypto when really we should be paying attention to what's actually happening with this sale in precious metals and mining stocks. And we showed a few weeks ago the buy on B2 gold at 282 or 289 after the fall. The buy on Pan America silver at just under $22. The buy on First Majestic at $5.32. The buy on Fortuna at like $5.17 or whatever it was, right around there, $5.20. And this was just about a week and a half ago. And now we see the compounding results, and some of these are up 17 to 20% in just about a week and a half. And now we're officially breaking out in silver. Silver finally pushed over that big resistance area at $34.18. This is huge. This is unbelievably huge. And I even pushed this out and showed how this was going to break out to the top side, because it was just a perfect, this is all so beautifully set up. If crypto was set up like this, I'd be jumping out of my seat. Crypto's about to be set up like this, but it's got to go down, just like gold, silver, and mining stocks did, to that next layer before we hit that true reward. Now, the unfortunate part is we'll only get about 300 to 500 views on this video. Sometimes they break out a little bit higher, but that's in the rare exception, because it's not crypto. But at the same time, this is something that I believe each and every one of you in my audience, and now it's not gotten away from you. These breakouts, B2 gold is still below the 2021 levels. Even with the finally B2 gold is breaking past that 340 level with conviction. Every time it got to about 342, it would get rejected. And this last time, though, it came down, and when it went down, oh boy. And it's not like I'm just telling my audience to buy stuff. If you're new, I have 333 shares of Barrick Mining. I have 3,222 shares of B2 Gold. I have 800 ounces of silver, 15 ounces of gold, what is this? First Majestic Silver, where are we sitting right now? 1,222 shares. Fortuna, 1,222 shares. Pan America Silver, 222 plus. Which one was? One of them's 220. Yeah, Pan America Silver's, I believe, 222 shares. So it would have been. No, I think I bought more. I think it's 272 because it dropped down more. I think I bought more. So 272, I think that one's at. So, and I build into these, and all I do is put in my profits from crypto at the time. And now this has just exploded. And I've been collecting gold and silver since 2018 roughly, but I haven't bought any precious metals since 2023. I don't think I made a single purchase in 24 at all. In fact, I know I didn't, because I wouldn't buy any gold over 2,000. And then silver, I didn't want to buy it once it came north of 22. I did earlier on, but after that last drop down, my cutoff line was around, only because I got to my allowance that I wanted. And then it was more focus on the mining stocks, you know, focus on crypto. And then we had a parabolic spike in crypto, as you know, from late 24 into 25. And then we've had this pullback of 55% roughly. That, if you go back in my videos, I sold 75% of my crypto. And now I'm focused on gold, silver, and mining stocks was the title of the video. So you can go back to early January. And that was in the topping. So we were having a trend reversal, and we were having also a rotational flip. But now it's one of those things, you're watching this video, now you're going to be like, oh, I need to go buy this. Now you're going to have to watch, because now 7% up on one, 11%. Let's just go through this. Good morning. I think 10:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, June 2nd, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire with some knowledge on mining stocks, commodities, you know, precious metals, oils, and things like that. And I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, like, I think one of the most overlooked things about my channel, because I don't push it as far as in titling or in description, because it's all focused on XRP, is just what we do here in commodities, precious metals. I begged this audience in 2022 to buy gold at $1,630 an ounce, silver at 16 something or 17 something an ounce. You know, mining stocks when they were in half on a lot of these. Fortuna Silver Mines was all the way down at $2.42. You know, we've come a long way. There was the buy opportunity on First Majestic that we rode back up to over almost $8 earlier on before we sold and had to wait for the back test. But now it's not a selling. You can't sell now. There's no, it's over. That the selling and the swing trade, that you can't do it no more. Now you've got to sit in it until we start to hit the appreciation we're looking for. It's too dangerous now to be getting in and out. Even if we have a significant pullback, now is the time where you can start to capitalize. But we're having breakouts here in silver. We're breaking out in silver. And if that happens, and even if gold goes down, the mining stocks, why they didn't go down last week with the metals, is because the gold mining stocks are valued at just about, still under 2,000. They're not even valued for $2,000 an ounce right now, let's be honest. Silver mining stocks aren't even valued for like 25. It's ridiculous how low they all are. Eventually, you're going to start seeing zeros added to these mining stocks, and when you do, we're all going to be sitting here going, oh my God. And not us, but a lot of people are. Like when you see Fortuna sitting up at $20 an ounce, or $20 a share, because it will. First Majestic, I think, is going to go like 30 to 50. Pan America could be $100 plus easy. B2 Gold better get to 15, 20 without a doubt. Like its positioning is so beautiful. Barrick Gold's going to be over 100 one day. The fact that this is the world's biggest gold mining stock, or gold mining corporation, outside of Newmont Mining, they would be the largest but for gold purposes, yes. And for it to be so cheap, I'm telling you that something special is going to happen here. And it always usually goes by way of the one least talked about. And I don't really know of nobody in my audience, except if they've come to know it from me, maybe a few exceptions, have any basic understanding of this sector because it's all about crypto in the mainstream. Ask yourself why nobody talks about this. You know, and like, there's a reason. But let's get through this because I got to get my son from school at 11:28. So let's get through this. I just wanted to go through a little spew there. So gold, and we see what was happening here. I mean, it's not a secret to us. We've been in this pattern. My next resistance was 4,115, and I don't really see anything that needed to happen. I had that little pullback that we needed, and it happened almost identically. So it's like, it looked like we were building this W reversal, and now it looks like we're doing exactly what it needs to do to push out. And it looks like we're going to start going up towards that 4,100 and some change. And like, if you're just looking at this, this is just an up channel, not a rising channel. It's just, we're bouncing on the uptrend right now. And it's starting to break out of that uptrend. Actually, you know what? You could technically say, if you're trying to get a baseline, I don't hate that at all. Because when it fell outside of it, technically it was on that, well, we could get a resistance up here and then pull way back, but it never did. But now that we're on the top side, we should get a parabolic spike here. I love that. Actually, I love that a lot. I'm going to keep that on there because that definitely will tell. That's going to tell the story there. Holy moly. I think if this continues, if we break out into a new high here, because it looks like we're going to try. If we break past 3,500, we're going to 4,100. We're going to hit 4K. If we get to 4K, mining stocks, listen guys. If you missed gold and you didn't buy it at 16, 17, 18, 19 when I was begging, if you were in the audience, or if you're new, mining stocks, I know a lot of people don't think about it, is the cheapest way to get the gold out of the ground right now. It is the cheapest way to get the gold out of the ground. And B2 Gold's a great option because they've also produced their most silver they ever have in their history. And where silver prices are going, oh my God. And one of the reasons why mining stocks are so cheap, and a lot of people don't consider this, is they're choosing not to pull the mining or the gold and silver out of the ground because they were waiting for price appreciation in the gold pricing and silver pricing per ounce, which they nailed it. That's not a bad thing. That means that inventory's in the ground and they were able to still make bills and still have all this money on hand without even mining the stuff in the ground. What happens when they actually mine the stuff out of the ground? And instead of getting $2,000 an ounce, which is where it should be even valued, it's not even valued at $2,000. What happens when they start getting $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 an ounce? And right now they're getting almost $3,400, and gold mining stocks aren't even valued at $2,000 an ounce. It's insane. This is one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. And do you see the correlation? How I always say Bitcoin and Ethereum are like the gold and silver to mining stocks. That's what Ethereum and Bitcoin are to the alts. I've said this all the time. And look how it works. Oh my God, mining stocks aren't moving like gold and silver. This is ridiculous. You know, it's the same thing with altcoins with Bitcoin. And like silver, we're like, silver's not moving like gold was. Ethereum's not moving like Bitcoin was. So if you understand how this works, you just got to do the same thing in different sectors. The only difference is with gold and silver, it's risk on and risk off because it's real money. Crypto's risk on. Mining stocks are very volatile, but they should be risk on and off scenarios as well. They perform in both markets. It's just, you have to find it at the right time. It's more about timing than time in market. And now the timing's been done. Now it's about time in market. Now it's going to be about the patience. If you're patient, you're going to add a zero. You're going to add a zero. I started with 4,000 or 5,000 in mining stocks. It's up to like 43,000 it's worth. So, and if this does what I think it's going to, especially with the crypto. So that's gold. We'll look at gold-silver ratio right now. It's dropped precipitously from yesterday, or last week it was at 102. And it looked like if it bounced out, we would end up coming up to 111. That means if the gold-silver ratio does that, that means gold's about to have a major spike. Silver's still going to move, the gold would have a major spike. If it goes down and this breaks down, that means we're about to rally huge. Silver always has the biggest move in the last 25% of the bull market, and mining stocks tend to do the same. But I still think there's a possibility this could come up to the next layer. However, it is forming a rising wedge at the end of this, which is brilliant. If you look at it in just a strategic way, there is a rising wedge technically forming here, which I love it. Give me that rising wedge. Once this breaks down the gold-silver ratio, silver's going. Gold's still going to go. But mining stocks are going to go. Telling you, we're going to be talking. I don't know if it's going to be in 25 or 26. I'm going to be sitting here and going, oh my God. First Majestic's at $16 an ounce. Fortuna's at $13 an ounce. B2 Gold's at 10. Barrett's at 40. Pan America's at 45. We're going to be sitting here. We're going to be having this conversation. Silver's at 50. Gold's at 5. I just hope more of my audience is part of the fun. Man, Barrett Gold only at $20. That's crazy. Barrett Gold's trying to break out here. We got this big point here that I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to get rid of all of this because you can see how it gets up there. But we got to get out of this consolidation, and Barrett Gold's going to be off to the races. It's been a very long time coming. Once this breaks out, nice V-shaped recovery, has that same bull flag gold had, remember. Gold, remember what my drawing was on gold before the breakout? And then I drew it into a bull flag at the end. Remember? Oh, wait a minute. Did I delete it? I don't remember. Might have deleted it. Fuck, I did. Oh, no. I didn't technically delete it. I just did it in a different way, but it was, you see what I'm saying. But it's the exact same thing. Why not just draw it in so I can show them? You have that ability. Now we'll use that ability. So it came up, did this, so V flag, right? But this flag is technically breaking out, so we need to delete this so you guys can see this. And then you can see the similarities with Barrett Gold right now, because this is unequivocally breaking out. I don't want to misrepresent what's actually happening here. So when it came down, did a V. Now you can see it's breaking out of that V. And you can see the W as well, but I'm just saying on that last drop, it created a V-shaped recovery with the bull flag. If you look at Barrett Gold, created that same V-shaped recovery with a nice bull flag sitting here, except if I draw this out better, this is still within the flag as to where gold has broken out. See the V? This is still within, if you're trying to do it. I mean, it should come farther down, but you get the picture. So it's still in, and then if it breaks out, it's going to come right up here to 2350, 2390. So it's going to be around 24 after this breakout. B2 Gold finally breaks out of this area. It was about I'm gonna raise that so you guys can see how many times this got hit. It's crazy. So 347. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Missed it here. 5, 6. This is 7th. So 1. This came for consolidation to 2. Never came back up. 3, 4. Never came back up. Consolidated 5. 6 time trying to push through here in this recent moment. But it also got rejected. Couldn't hold it. Every time. And then it started here. And then now look how many times this was. Insane. Just couldn't get through it. Now it's getting through it. And it's got a nice inverse head and shoulders build. I'm telling you, this is going to be freaking spectacular with this. Freaking-tacular. Descending triangle. Or wedge. It's about 70% of the move on the breakout. Back tested it perfectly. When I say perfectly, I mean perfectly. This is where I was talking about. It came down here. We bought 289 was when we bought it the last time. Spectacular. And yeah, it came down before too. when it actually came up here. It came all the way down to here, sold it up here, came down here, bought it, and said you can't sell no more. Just let it go. That's how it's got to go. Just got to let it go. My next big target here, believe it or not, would be this cup and handle, which that's where we're heading towards right now at 382. So 382, that first cup. The higher one's up there at like 460, which we're going to get there. But if you just look at this for the short target here, which we're heading towards, this is just the short target, folks. I'm going to clone this. $5. Technical target where it broke out, if it plays true, is $5. It's $5. Man, that's a nice move. Just that short target. My God. And this is formed an all-time cup. I think you guys can finally see what I used to talk about. $7.07 is the all-time cup. In the last bull market, this was in 2020, it was up near 7. It was up at 750. In the 21 market, in 22, it got up to 490. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, what was happening here. Where it ended up getting, some of these were at lows that we hadn't seen since the beginning of the chart when it had the first initial breakout. Like, we finally back-tested that. That's why it's so big. It never came back in its history to backtest this. After the initial breakout in 2018, and then this first or last attempt down here at 2020, it had the big breakout. Never came back to backtest, not one time since 2018. So finally, 5 years later, we did. Or since 2020, the breakout. And that needs to happen. So now we've cleared all that space. If we go to over $7 in Discovery at the price we bought it at, you know, it's going to be across the board. This is across the board. We're getting into a time that I've been waiting for a very long time, but I'm patient. That's why I said, if you're watching this, expect consolidation. But eventually, this is going to happen. We're trying to have this parabolic breakout in silver right now. But we do have to hold $34 at some point. But you can see we're finally trying to make this move. Oh, and I did that on silver when I drew that out. So, and then we'll start moving by level. But the pattern's a nice cup and handle forming. And then it goes up to the higher levels. And then to me, the breakout's going to bring us to $93 in time. And then more. This is the short-term cup. There's a bigger cup that I don't acknowledge yet, but it's going to get us into triple digits, and then, you know, we'll go from there. Pan America Silver, because I got to get this update out now. Didn't intend on this to be 23 minutes because nobody watches it to begin with for the most part, but if you're watching, this will be a great video. Pan America Silver doing that same bullish consolidation. Looks like an inverse head and shoulders right here formed. Should come up here to this. Holy shit. That's 37? Oh, Pan America Silver could be at near $40 before we can even blink. Had a beautiful acquisition, which is what caused the price to go down. And I mentioned it just like with First Majestic when they went down with an acquisition. It makes the books look weird. And it was right at earnings, which made it weird. But they still had a great earnings. But yeah, this looks like it's going to come up here in no time. We'll just have to break through $30.67. So pay attention to this. Pay attention to these. And if this breaks out, you're talking $60 plus if it gets out of this consolidation. But there's still time. Still time in that consolidation. But the fact it's up to 26 now, my God. Just a week and a half ago at 21 something. I love it. I'm freaking loving it. This is great. First Majestic up 11% today. My sweet baby. My baby. I've drawn this out the best I can for everybody to show the inverse head and shoulders descending wedge that broke out of the back test of it, the new inverse head and shoulders, the new consolidation. So, I mean, I've tried. And then I show the above where it's going to go if it breaks out immediately to $9.21. And then, guys and gals, eventually we're going to break out of this. I'm telling you, eventually we're going to break out of this and it's going to be over $26. And for the pricing we bought it at, bah, sweet Jesus. I haven't been this excited since I found crypto at the right time. Well, I didn't technically find it at the right time. I found it in the greatest bull trap in the history of crypto in 21, as it was happening from bear to bull, back to the biggest bear. But we dissected the bear to the bull to the bear to the bull, and we're doing the same thing in mining stocks. And now, last but not least, Fortuna Silver Mines. Fortuna was up how much today? 10.2% as well. Wow. Let's go. Breaking out finally. Back tested. I have my target where I circled it, as you can see, on this breakout. But we just have to get over that pivot at 730. Last time we failed to get over it, it formed this long-standing cup and handle that goes all the way back to 2021 where it started. So, big long time. We're just breaking out of a short-term handle that formed a cup and handle. So this is beautiful. It's beautiful. We'll be at $10 shortly. Once this does what it needs to do. And then ultimately to break out of this, if we get out of this resistance at $9, or what is it? $9.82, ball game. And look, we've been consolidating for decades. Well, not decades, but since 2011 in October, we've been consolidating. Eventually that consolidation ends and we go. So, have a blessed day, everybody. Thank you so much. Share this. Subscribe to my channel. We have just over 42,000 subscribers. I talk about mining stocks in every live. So even if you don't see an update during the day, if you watch the live, I talk about it every single live at some point in the live. So hopefully I'll see you there. Have a blessed one.